Good evening, folks. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I want to thank all of you again for tuning in this evening. We will have ourselves some real fun here tonight. I'm going to be joined here very shortly by Mr. Amos George, who is a senior LPR political analyst. Let's put it that way. So, but he's part of the family, of course. So he'll be joining us here to help us carry the information here. You saw my stuff. Basically, we're still talking about CPP and what have you. So safety, Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again this evening for bringing us together. Lord, as we sit here, please make sure that when we open our mouth, it is something that good comes out. Lord Jesus, we ask you to continue to pour your blanket of love and your blanket of protection around all of us. Lord Jesus, we ask you with your powerful way of dealing with us. We ask you to protect us. We ask you to continue to bless us. Jesus, we ask you to bless the country of the Republic of Liberia. We ask you to bless the leaders of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. Lord Jesus, we ask you to please bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and start this show. Thank you. As I stated, thank you very much. If you have the opportunity, please share this video here with other friends here tonight. And I'm being joined now by Mr. George. Amos George is my partner here tonight. And we're going to be going on a lot of issue discussion here tonight. Good evening, Mr. George. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you. Okay, folks, we're going to be having some discussion here tonight. So, Mr. George, first thing first, I saw on social media, and specifically from you, a post that had to do with the letter from the lawyer for the collaborating political party. And I thought that was a very interesting letter. And apparently they must have been listening to me. And because everything stated in there, specifically their recommendation, is something that I've been hounding about here for a long time, trying to see reason for these people to come together. Now, however, though, the leader who is now CPP chairman, the ball is in his court to see how best he's going to bring these people together and have this conversation started so that we don't go too far. But I was wondering, do you have your post with you, or you want me to go ahead and find mine and read it?
Oh, you can read it. I just read it for our audience.
Okay. All right. So, folks, let me just read this, and then we're going to start the conversation here. Okay. And it says, team of lawyers. I know many of you have seen it. A team of lawyers, it said, collaborating political party, CPP, Monrovia, Liberia. This is just something that I got from Mr. George. Now, I have not gone out on the limb. I trust Mr. George. I trust his judgment, but I've not gone out. I just want to be factual here. I've not gone out on a limb to say what this come from, who did it, and do digging and stuff. I don't need to do that. So I'll just read it. If it's something that is not true, so be it. But I will read what I have. October 14, 2021, it says, Senator Nyomli Kanga Lawrence, chair, collaborate. So you know this thing was before Dr. Barker became the chair. Collaborating political party, Monrovia, Liberia. Madam Chair, on behalf of the team of lawyers, we hereby acknowledge receipt of your letter dated October 12, 2021, requesting our legal advice from the legal advice on the fathering. Mr. George, is that what you sent me, correct?
Yeah.
The procedures on the fathering, it says, number one, the procedures that was followed in the incorporating the proposed amendment in the FD, and we'll see what FD is later. FD, which let me just say what FD is right away, is the document itself, but they have the name of the document here, which is a framework document. That's what FD is. Okay. In the framework document and submitted to the National Election Commission. And I'm just giving the name here. It's a NEC.
Same.
Excuse me?
Submitted as same. So that means nothing will change. Submitted
Yeah. I submitted same to no, but listen now. We'll go into that a little bit. Yeah, let me read that again so at least the audience will pick up on this. And I see your point, but let me read that again. The procedure now, they said the letter you sent us, we're going to follow this. This is number one. The request now from the chairman, Madam Lawrence, the procedure that was followed in incorporating the proposed amendment in the framework document and submitted, seen.
Yeah.
I mean, the framework document that was amended is a same document that was submitted to the same to the National Election Commission. The effect of extracting the signature page from the original framework document signed on May 19, 2020 by the four political leaders and attaching same. Again, same, I mean the document we extracted is the same document we attached. Same, okay. Same, folks, mind if you see that going on, then that means my system is getting ready to start on me. But I hope we're not going to go through that here tonight because I don't have time for that kinds of hoopy, jumpy stuff. All right. So, but anyway, let me go on reading. It's going to come on. It's okay. So, extracting the signature page from the original framework document signed on May 19, 2020 by the four political leaders and attracting and attaching same to the final document without their approval expressed and implied and submitted same to NEC. Now, that this is something that many of our brothers and sisters continue to pin their hopes and their hearts on this and make it look like pumpkin pie now turned to elephant. So it's but we have to try to read it with understanding. So I'll try again. Let me read that. The effect of subtracting the signature page, the effect. I want people to understand that. The effect, I mean something, the result, or something that may sound into going cuckoo. Okay. The effect of extracting the signature page from the original frame document signed on May 19, 2020 by the four political leaders and attaching that signature page to the final document without their approval. That means this is very interesting as well. That means the people sign, get all the document. We took the signature from on it. We whatever amendment we did, we put a signature by without their approval. So that's that's kind of like, I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, express or imply and submitted seen to NEC. What are the purpose? What of the proposed amendment made by the lawyer was changed without their consent, and any other issue of legal significance that needs to be addressed by the NEC. While noting your request, the first page, the first one that I read was the request that Madam Senator Lawrence sent to the group of lawyers, asking them to look at A, B, C, D. And these were what I was reading was some request from Senator Lawrence. That was not the reply from the team of lawyers. Team of lawyers say you ask her to do X, Y, and Z. And let me read it X, Y, and Z again. Let me just do that because I think it's important. Senator Lawrence now is requesting the legal team to look into four items she had. Number one, the procedure that was followed in incorporating the proposed amendment in the framework document. In the framework document and submitted same document to NEC. Was there anything wrong with it? Look at the procedures and tell me. Number two, the effect of extracting the signature page from the original framework document signed on May 19, 2020 by the four political leaders and attaching same to the final document without their approval, express or imply, and submitted seen to NEC. So Senator Yumney is saying, what is the effect of these people taking the signature page that we've already signed after amending the document, take that same signature page and put it on and send it to NEC? What is the effect? Tell us. Without the people approval and whether they know about it or not. But tell us. 3, what are the proposed document made by the lawyers was changed without their consent? And 4, any other issue of legal significance that needs to be addressed by NEC. So those were the things Madam Lawrence submitted to the team of lawyers, asking her to look into it. Do I get it wrong right so far?
That's it. That was the request.
Okay. So now let's listen to the lawyer now gonna come back. While noting your request, we would like to state the following. Now, this is coming from a lawyer. We were invited by the collaborating political party as a team of lawyers and requested to review the framework documents as concluded by the 4 political parties. And the 4 political parties are neither in there. We were informed that the framework document reflected the will of the party to form a collaborative, but wanted to ensure that the framework document complies with full legal prescription, both in terms of substance and structure. So you call us, they said to Madam Lawrence, you say you want this, these are the kind of things, but you guys invited us, team of lawyers, to look at these things, and you already give us a mandate, so to speak. We're supposed to look at it, make sure legally that it has is sound, and the structure itself that you're building these things on is also sound. Okay, so number 3, upon review of said document, it said, we made a number of revisions, both in substance and in structure. Let me read that again. They ain't say Kumi made revision. It ain't say Samson made revision. It ain't say somebody else from outside. These are the people that were invited by the 4 political parties to look into from the legal standpoint as to what are this document or these documents that they put together, as to what is sound legally, and as to what is sound structurally from legal perspective. And he's saying that upon our review, the lawyers review, nobody else, not Samson from Total, nobody else. They didn't call anybody. He said, upon our review now, this document, you can say, oh, Mr. Toll, somebody put it together. Okay, well, what? I'm not in Liberia. I'm right here in Sacramento. So please give me the due of understanding, please. So let me go. Upon review, I'm reading again. Upon review, where are we? Upon review of the said document, we made a number of revisions, both in substance and in structure. And the framework document was revised as presented at a meeting convened for the purpose and attended by the leadership of the 4 political parties. After the team of lawyers did the revision, before doing anything else, there was a meeting, according to this document, that the meeting, of course, to discuss nothing else. They're not going there to drink honey. What did look out? They said, Doctor, we are drinking. What's the name of it?
Hennessy S.O.
Hennessy. Let me, before I go on reading here, Mr. Yeah, because I've been hearing it, because when I used to drink, that club beer, the Hennessy, that stout, where does Hennessy S.O. come from?
Black beer.
Huh?
The liquor, I think it ranges from 500 up to thousands of dollars, depending on the
what they pour in there? What kind of thing they can pour in?
I don't know, Mr. Toe, don't ask me.
Well, I mean, for me to pay anything more than $2.50 a bottle, you got to give me something better than wine, a pound wine from Total, to be specific.
If you ask about black beer from Libra French factory, that I want to know.
Yeah, right behind Garden Nature, right behind at Attorney Stadium. They used to have a hard liquor. When I was in Montreal, I never hard liquor person. Our club beer, Hennessy, and what else? Club beer, Hennessy, and stout. That was it. When I came to the United States, when I used to throw a lot of airball at that time, that was it. What's the people? What do your people come from with Hennessy, SOWOPO? Are we prisoner of war? What kinds of business is this? Let me read on. I mean, I just missed my place. To be honest with you, folks, these are things that cause young people not to pay attention to certain things. Let me go on. Okay, so they said they after they did their revision and everything, they have a meeting. The purpose for that purpose, and attended by leadership of the 4 political parties. Upon submission to the leadership of the parties, and to date, we have heard no interaction with the same documents. We had a meeting, they said, with all political parties involved, And after that meeting, we submitted. They were supposed to be submitted. I think when they say submission, I mean they went to next. And since that time, no one, according to them, they have no interaction with the document. Madam Chair, they come to speak like total men now. The same thing I be telling the people then. They come and say the same thing. Madam Chair, we as lawyers voluntarily agree to support a process as part of our patriotic commitment to our country. We did so knowing that our contribution will assist in reconciling and engineering an environment for better collaboration and coordination. The lawyer talking, the Samson talking. We note with concern. These are the same people you call, you say you can't look at the document if they have these documents have any kind of legal issue. They look at it, they call you to meeting. They look at it, they call you to meeting. All of you can read. You know book, plenty book. You have experience. If somebody change anything at that time, you anything you want to see it to complain, then you're going to wait the lawyer now. Every lawyer, then they leave a room. Some of them go to South Africa, some of them come to Total, some of them go their way. Now you come and say, oh, the document, you have the document. What document again, my man? We're finished with that document business. The document with where you coming from now with the document business again, my man? Picking your stop this thing. But let's listen to what the lawyer then say. That's very, very serious. So listen, we note with concern, however, that the issue raised in your letter of October 12, 2021, and upon which we are requested to open, have become the subject of intense internal and external discussion over the past several weeks. And Samson is still discussing it. This has run the process overwhelmingly political, thereby marginalizing the efficacy and effect of the framework document. Under this circumstance, we found it extremely difficult to advise on the issue presented to us, because everybody causing mouth cost. We the lawyer, then we don't know how to do mouth cost. How you expect us to advise you when everybody causing mouth cost? Then you want us to come and say something. What you want me to say? I don't know mouth cost. I can't do mouth cost. I never saw anybody, any of all four of you. I never saw all four of you in a criminal proceeding before in this republic. Why now you're calling one of you guys a criminal? And now you want me, after all of that, you want us to come and say what? To help you do mouth cost? Notwithstanding, they said, may we remind you that there are risks associated. Oh, the lawyer saying no. Samson told. I know the risk they're talking about. Samson told. We'll talk about that one. Risk associated with the unceasing public engagement on this matter. Accordingly, we advise, just like Samson told, been saying months and months, well, weeks and weeks, well, days and days. We advise that some form of collective restraint, oh my goodness, collective restraint is put in place, and that the political leaders urgently exert effort to bring closure to this matter. Interesting, Mr. Josh. Interesting. This letter has done more. As far as I'm concerned, this letter has done more to move this ball forward than I could have imagined. If this letter is coming from these lawyers,
but
this letter,
there's a name there.
Yeah. I saw that. And a few days ago, somebody came out. He said the lawyer is a troublemaker. Yeah, I read that one, but I know who that person is. I'm not gonna dignify that. Consular Benedict F. What's his last name? Sanya? Sano. Okay. But anyhow, this letter, if it's genuine, Mr. George, if this letter is genuine, then I think CDC will be shaking in their boots tonight.
It is genuine. And
if it is genuine.
And I challenge anybody who come and say this letter was not signed by Benedict Sano on behalf of the lawyers.
Okay. If this law, no, I just want to say if this letter is genuine, then I think CDC will be shaking in their boots tonight. What do you make of this letter, Mr. George?
You know, Mr. Tool, this letter, and I see every one of us try to spin it to fit our own narrative. But this letter should put all that noise to rest. Everything. Because what Senator Yomi Kanga asked the lawyer to do, they precisely did what she wanted. They lay out the point by point allegations that were made by she and some member of the collaborating party. This letter has defeated all the allegations that were made. So,
Mr. George, you can't jump a leap from one building to another without any kind of parachute. Please don't do that. The letter didn't say everything. No, the letter didn't say that. The letter is saying the people refuse to go into it because the people causing Marcos, because the people talking all kinds of stuff that have nothing to do with it.
The question. The initial allegation was that document was tampered with.
Yeah, but the letter, Mr. George, I understand that. I understand. I got your point. But I want us to look at this thing from this letter perspective, Mr. George.
But now, that's the thing. Yomi Kanga did not mention in the document that would you please check for any alteration.
Yes, I agree with that.
She did not.
I agree with that. And let me read that. Let me read that because there were four requests.
Yes.
4 requests she sent to them. Perfect. And one of them, let me read the request now. There's nothing here to say, but she's a very smart lady. Listen to the language she used here. Listen to the procedure. So that procedure could also, inside that word procedure, you can also inject alteration. But then the lawyer did address it. No, the lawyers, what they're saying here, it seems to me, it seems to me what the lawyer are saying here is that while noting your request, we would like to state the following. We were invited by the collaborating, they give up the story. Yes. Upon review, okay, let me go down here. So, Madam Chair, after they lay out all the stuff, why you brought us in when this is what we now listen to this. Madam Chair, we as lawyers voluntarily agree. Okay, we know we're concerned. They didn't go into it to say, and I like these lawyers. I like them, but that's why they're lawyers. They didn't come in here to settle the dispute. They didn't come in here to say, Benedict, you read a letter, Ice King saying that that's not true. Kumi allegation that he tampered with it, that's not true or that's true. They didn't even address that. They threw this ball back into them to show leadership, to all 4 of them, to show leadership. But listen, I think this letter really would tell us, the Liberian people, as to whether these people have the ability to lead. Yeah, but get what it said. They said sin was presented as it was. So that means there was no alteration. Because no, you can't jump into that, Mr. Judge. That's my point I'm making. No. You cannot jump into that because even though it says listen to this. It says it said, we were informed, blah, blah, blah. Okay. When the word seen was being, that's coming out of Madame Lauren herself. The procedure that was followed in incorporating the proposed amendment in the framework document submitted, seen. That's Madame Lawrence is saying, we signed this document, we put everything together, people submit the same.
Yes.
Okay. But in her wisdom now, she asking the lawyer to look into all of these rigmarole. She was not specific either. She was not specific either. This woman, Madame Lauren, folks, she's my friend. But I didn't know that this lady, she's too intelligent, too smart.
Well,
very, very smart and very crafty.
That's your right, but I strongly disagree with you.
Mr. George, why would you disagree with me on her smartness? Give me some reason.
You say she's smart. Where is the document to prove that Mr. Alexander Cummings authored the document according to
you're really fighting uphill battle at this point.
You seen that,
Mr. George, I understand. I'm not here to dispute that.
She concluded that someone did something wrong.
But yes, a smart nana. And if you were in politics and have to go against the lady, this is why she flocked the former I don't call it Minister of Foreign Affairs, because this lady, she's not small slash. She might be slow talking, but she's very calculated. And listen to this. This is the same lady.
Her judgment. Is that how smart person make judgment?
No, but listen to this. Let me just say this, Mr. George, and I think hopefully you will come around. A few weeks ago, this lady had a press conference, and she laid out in the press conference what she believed that Mr. Cummings has done.
Yeah.
And before that, Benedict Euro wrote a letter without calling Mr. Cummings and said somebody did some alteration to the document. Correct? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is why I said she's very smart. Let's look at this request. They decided, not only her, they decided to invite the lawyers into this conversation now. There's one or two things that is going on here. Either she was told by Dr. Buckeye to get legal advice on this, number one, or they themselves decided, I don't know who they are, but I'm just using they, decided to go back to the same team of lawyers that were invited from the beginning and let them come out to see if anything will alter at all.
Yeah.
Okay. But listen to the language she uses. And because of this language that she used, these people the lawyer have no other choice but to stay within. This is why I said she's very smart. Look at the kinds of requests she's making. You're making a request to lawyers. Being specific. The lawyers themselves, when they're coming back with their answer, they cannot go outside of the framework that you have set. Listen to the request. She said, the procedure, number one request, the procedure, she didn't say anything about her press conference. To say I have a press conference some time ago, and I made reference to Honorable Cummings. She didn't even call anybody name. She didn't call. All she talked about is document. So I think what you guys most likely might want to argue, and this liberal progressive might feel a little bit on his back heel, would be that why didn't she mention this from her press conference? Why didn't she make that part of the request to the lawyer? No, this is why I said she's smart.
But here's the thing. She presented the request to the lawyer before having a press conference.
Okay.
He came out to say, the lawyer had already, she was going to turn the document over now to the lawyer to review it.
But so
if you are
let me ask you this, Mr. Josh. So the lawyer reply here came before the press conference?
No, because she said when she had a press conference, it was when she stated that she wanted to give the document back to the lawyer now. And now the question here is, if the lawyer did not review the document, how did you arrive at a conclusion that
Mr. Judge, and not only is she's a Liberian, but she's a capable human being. She's an educated woman, and she has the right to determine what she thinks is going on.
Fine. When you are making an exception, you are accusing somebody. If you do not have any evidence to prove what,
but that doesn't mean Mr. Joyce. I'm not a lawyer.
No, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
That's why you use the word allege, because you do not have the document to prove what you're saying. Even if you have it, it has not gone to court. Only the court can determine that someone is guilty. Now you and myself, we can only allege. So,
Mr. Josh, you're bringing us semantic here.
It's not semantic.
No, it is, because you're saying that she should have. So if she have to use the word allege, then perhaps the plane would have landed smoothly. You're suggesting.
If she would use the word allege, then Mr. Euro will be the one to bring documents to prove it. But when she say, from what she was reading from the paper, go to the press conference, that it happened on a common watch and common should take full responsibility of it. So therefore, she said, he is the one, the alteration took place on his watch. She did not say allege.
Okay.
So we are living in a world today, everything you say is counted against you.
But listen to this. And I'm also leaping right now without a parachute. And there's no question but that's okay. I can do that. I can do that. I'm still young. I'm able to fly at night in my sleep and still land on my feet and whatever. So I can do that. But listen to this. This is why I said that she's very smart. Now, knowing full well that she has a kind of issue with Cummings and believing that this is happening.
Yeah.
But when she made the request to the lawyer, she did not say, I think, or because this request was made after Bernard Ure sent a letter out.
Yeah, to her.
So, exactly. So, but that particular letter was not even mentioned here. Now, you can also argue, the lawyer themselves, they said they were invited to look at the framework document for sounding in terms of a structure and in terms of a substance.
Yeah.
Having had the opportunity to review, the lawyer said, they felt within themselves that perhaps certain language, certain words, certain setting, whatever it was, needed to be revised.
Yes.
And they did that.
They did that.
So let me push you a little bit. On who leadership was this revision happening?
But what they said, they said that the 4 political parties review.
I understand that, but who was the chairman at the time?
Listen.
No, Mr. George. Let's take a one at a time. We're talking right now. She's saying that it was uncommon. Who chairmanship was it? Was the revision?
Don't rush.
Okay.
It was uncommon that the registration was done.
Okay. Well, Your Honor, please advise the witness. Your Honor, please advise the witness to stick with the answer. Simple answer. Your Honor, please.
Let's speak from the document.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm saying. Your Honor, please advise the witness to please answer my question directly. Let me go back again. Mr. Josh, I submit to you that Madam Lawrence said in her press conference, it was Honorable Cummings' leadership that this document was altered. Is that not correct?
She said that Honorable Cummings.
It was it not on Honorable Cummings' leadership that the team of lawyers came and revised this document. Is it not correct?
Hold on there, no.
Mr. George, you were coming. I'll give you 10 to 20.
Hold on, you did ask a question.
But why will you not answer that?
No, listen. We're not doing team down quiz here.
I love it.
We're not doing team down quiz. The reverse.
Okay, let's get out of the courtroom. Let's get.
It was reviewed.
Yes.
By the lawyers and all the political parties. Leader was present.
Right.
And it was from there the document was submitted.
Right. So but you see the point. Listen, you see the point that I'm making, Mr. George.
I know where you're going with that. Listen, you're trying to stand by your maker, but you're not helping her.
No, I'm not standing by her. But let me learn. Go ahead and finish, then I'll come in.
Now, here's the thing. Mr. Ure, Miss Yomli Kanga, they did not specify any statement that were author that people should look at to compare, contract. They never said it. And she did not attach the letter that Mr. Ure wrote her, so the lawyer can use it as a reference point. And Mr. Ure himself had never come out to point in that document what was authored.
I agree.
Where is this alleged crime took place? Because in order to prove, you have to say, John Brown, at so-and-so date, this is the paragraph that was changed from this to this at this time. Then they will compare it and see the differences. But this was very open to say something changed.
But let me support your argument on that, Mr. George. And I like the way we're going at it. Let me support. She's my political leader. She's my sister. But I'm not going to defend something that I know is not right or something that I know is not conducive for our country. And I've already expressed my dissatisfaction in the way she handled this whole thing, because being a strong lady, a political leader, and you're giving opportunity like that, I thought she would utilize that opportunity effectively to make her case and make the case of all our sisters, mothers, and every one of the ladies in Liberia. But she didn't do that. I've already stated that. But look at this. Let me support your statement. Now, just to remind her, even though she didn't mention, not only to remind her, but to remind the entire leadership. This is what the lawyer was saying. Even though they said, and I'm just paraphrasing, I'm just speculating. Even though they said, you did not mention anything about Benda Ure letter, the regional issue that came up.
Yes.
Even though you did not mention anything that you yourself believe this document was authored by Honorable Cummings. But here is what we need to do for you. Let us, because we know you're a very smart woman, and we know that you're a sincere person, but sometimes in the battle of engagement, sometimes people mistake things. So they said, let's do this for you. We will lay it out. We will lay it out to remind you the process. The process. And if anything have gone wrong in that proceeding, that would have been picked up. So they lay it out. They said, we were invited by the collaborating political party as a team of lawyers and requested to review. Because if you ask somebody to review, and let me go on, because the reason why they wanted them to review, the mandate is in this sentence. Yeah. We were asked to review the framework document as concluded by the four political parties, ALP, ANC, LP, and UP. We were informed. Listen to this. That means they told them. We were informed that the framework document reflected the will of the political party from from a collaboration, but wanted to ensure these people now they're telling the lawyer that, but wanted to ensure that the framework documents complies with 4 legal prescription.
Yes.
Both in terms of substance and structure. And they're telling her, this is why you guys invited us. This is why you guys invited us.
Mm.
And this is what we did.
Okay.
And they went out on that. So let's go. Let me just conclude that, then we can move on. Then the conclusion, they came back and said, Samson told us, the lawyer now, they're saying, Samson told us. Notwithstanding, they said, Mr. Toll has advised, folks, I'm adding my own in there. You'll go sue me. Because this is what I've been saying from day one. Mr. Toll has advised us. May we remind you, according to Mr. Toll, may we remind you that there are risks associated with the unseasoned public engagement on this matter. Now, let me just say what a risk, I might believe, what a risk the lawyer was talking about. This document, it was upon this document that my own political leader was elected based on the framework document that was submitted. It was on this document that the light was elected. So they're saying, without saying much, they'll continue that kind of thing. Anybody from Liberia can sue the CPP, take them to court. And once they get to the Supreme Court, they will tear the framework document apart, word for word. And then you will see who authored any document. And this is the race these lawyers are talking about. And they're saying, we're asking you all to take this thing to Joe Barker village. And you're going to bush, do your Google boot thing into Joe Barker village. And you'll talk about this thing and make sure cooler hair prevail. Mr. Joyce, I want to thank you on this. Yeah, let's go on let's go and try to this. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say to people, normally the law says when you hide, that's the only way you can seek redress. So, in other words, Benina Yuri, Yomi Kanga, and Joseph Boagai, who supported this investigation, they were not able to prove anything that occurred in that document to show injury. Because that is the bottom line. If I'm suing Mr. Toll, I must prove to the court that Mr. Toll actually hired me. In this document, there's nothing there to harm any of them. So what was the complaint? What was the harm that the document was going to cause to them that it brought this matter onto the Liberian people? Because I won't say them, to the Liberian people. So these are the issues someone will talk about. The document, you said there was something wrong. Yes, you must prove that this what went wrong. And because of this, I have been hurt as a result of this. But if you cannot prove that, then you got no claim. And I know Mr. You know better. You only can know better. Oh, my boy, I know better. But this again, I would say, lack of leadership on the part of these people. Because if there was a leadership, tonight we would not be talking this issue. It would have been resolved in house. Because none of them can prove any harm. So then where's the issue?
Okay. All right. I think let us accept and respect the lawyer view and pray that the leadership themselves in the CPP will abide by the lawyer request and their plea pretty much asking these people to go and have this thing resolved so we can move on with the campaign that is surely going to be so hot in this place. Mr. George, let me do this here. Let's now retrospect. Let's go back a little bit and talk about each of these individuals. Wait, let's agree now that obviously these people are going to have the situation resolved.
Yeah.
But let's try and talk about them individually, and let's also attribute some sort of responsibility on their part. And I want you to take out your supporting hat of which whatever area you're supporting, but let's look at them critically and see if there was any mistake that was made by all three individuals. I'm not going to break up Bernard Ure, but let's deal with all three individuals because those are the three that was leading, and the two were leading, and one is now leading the CPP. So let's talk about them individually. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me bring in the first person I want to start with is Mr. Comey. Okay. Let's start with Mr. Comey. What do you make of Mr. Comey, Mr. George?
Mr. Comey, I will tell you what he had demonstrated, show leadership. Honor his leadership. The CPP won senatorial seats in Cape Mount, Bassa, Mosolaro, Bapu, Lofam, which is still pending, some Honorable President Samoka, which is still pending. So there was a leadership on Mr. Cummings. But something has been brewing under the water. Other people in the collaboration try to ostracize Cummings. They have used words that normally you don't think that when people are in collaboration will use. And in this thing, it's been boiling. And people in Cummings' circle felt that he was not doing enough. He was just this ball being submissive to the people. And the causing him is not pushing back. So this is what went wrong in the whole collaboration. They started against him and they continued to push him. And it reached a point to say, hey, I got to stand up. This guy from the corporate world, you know how the corporate people, what they believe in channels, communication. So he will communicate with the other document they talk about. He was communicating with them effectively. But they decided to take a different route. And normally when this thing happens, at a certain time, you have to fight for yourself. And this is where hell went loose in the CPP. Because coming down is saying, no, this thing is getting too much, I got to push back. And this is why when the situation. But from coming in, the way I saw he was leading, he was doing pretty good, communicating with everybody effectively, until they were pushing him to the point that he had to say, no, I got to fight back. And this is what happened. From day one, they didn't look at him as one of them, they looked at him as a stepchild.
Thank you. Thank you for that analysis. But I have a different take on this. I also agree with you on many of the statements that you made in terms of his ability to lead. I believe strongly that Mr. Comey has the ability to lead, and I think he can do that effectively. What I do not expect out of Comey, unless to say that Comey came into this by being naive of the Liberian politics. I believe, and these are all my opinion, folks, I believe that Comey came into this with the mindset of trusting.
That's it.
And not understanding that Liberian politics is dirty more than any other dirty water you can find in Montreal, let alone in the countryside. But Comey thought, I believe also, that perhaps if these people were to come and come out with their dirty politics, that because he believed and trusted them, they will quickly find out that he's not about to play these kinds of dirty politics because he wants to talk about Liberia and for Liberia. That's what I believe when he first started this thing and the whole thing started. However, what I thought that he did, and I was a little bit surprised, because if what I'm saying, if it's true, all of these things that I've been saying about, if it's true, then I believe Comey should have stayed on that route and put Liberia first and engage the individual, engage them in their gathering, and Comey has the ability to express himself freely. None of them would have walked out of the room. And even if they dare walk out of the room, it would have been on them. But I think if Comey have done that and enumerate some of these things that they have done to him, I think the effect of that would have been tremendous. Would have been, I mean, his number, his stock, political stock would have gone up higher. However, I believe that Comey came in and find out that his trust is being abused. And he did just like any other Liberian, any of us would do. But he's not any of us. He's somebody who's seeking the leadership of Liberia. He's somebody who say you can't do one thing over and over and expect different results. And in Liberia, you cause my mom, I cause your mom. So when Comey coming in and say we're going to do things differently, I thought that would have been the perfect example that Comey would have used for the young people to follow.
No, Mr. Toy, listen.
No, let me. I didn't say anything. I'm just giving you my analysis. Let me finish up, and then we'll go to the next person, please. If you don't mind. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. And so when Comey came in and started doing the press conference and tried to attribute the failure of the group and tried to suggest that these things happening because of X, Y, and Z, I thought perhaps that Comey have already gotten out of that room of maturity. And I as much as I know he's have the ability to lead, but I'm also faulting him. Percentage-wise, I would say Comey has maybe 20-30% of responsibility of whatever is happening right now. You want to rebuttal on that?
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
You see, Mr. Tool, politics sometimes is not always kumbaya. Here is the man who are come in, and you find out that you came with an open heart, open mind, that look, we want to make the thing, if it's not 80% fair, but it might be 75% fair. Level this playing field for everybody to participate. But within the twinkle of an eye, we found out 2-3 persons have already found a circle, a clique. So even if you try to say something in that room, they will come down to oppose it. So what Comey did was that taking it to the public. That politics, take it to the public. Put it out there. This is what people are doing, and I'm saying it's wrong. So let the public make that conclusion, that judgment. And this is what Comey started to do. That, hey, we said this, and now they're doing this. You think all that time the NRCP thing was not going wrong? Thing was going wrong, but he was trying to work alone. But it got to the point that, hey, if we continue to talk the thing in-house, that had been the problem with Liberians. They'll go in the house and fix it. But they're not bring it to the public. And exactly that's the wrong Comey took. For instance, look at the document we're talking about. You think if the document came up for a Comey would have said, let's go fix it, people will come with a conclusion, oh, he did it. Yeah, that's why he said, they're going to go fix it. But when he came to the public now,
okay, Mr. Josh, I'm not too sure. Okay, go ahead.
Everybody now start to talk in this document now. The legal team of this setup, they will come and review it. Now you see how the tension, this noise is going on now on Facebook. Have you seen people cussing again? No. Even though people want to spin the document the way they want to, but you can see now, some of the people with the largest, widest mouth are come down now. Because why? They see something, even though someone said that they don't trust the very lawyer again, I prepare it, but with the same lawyer that they were dealing with before. This is what happened. A Comey would not come down hard to say, this document, let it come to the public or let it do everything. This noise would have been continuously hearing, people who have been yelling all around. But you see, people now got something. Now people now acting, which is which. So this is what happened. And walking all of a sudden for political meeting, it's just a matter of protest. It doesn't mean that you're against or you're not going back. It's just what you register your grievances.
Let me have the last word on this, and then we can move on to the next person. I still say, Comey demonstrated my word now, poor judgment, to be honest with you, by even walking out, poor judgment. Now, I do understand that it is always our culture to try to settle things in-house. And people are now saying these are things we need to change. If you're changing those kinds of behavior, then who are we?
We are not saying change it. No, we're not saying change it. But if it is constantly happening.
Yeah, but Mr. George, let me just close this out on this here. Okay. We'll come back on this. We'll come back to it. But my point is, if this is what our forefathers have done over and over and over, even in our own community back home. If there's a serious issue, they call us. Let's have this conversation among ourselves. It's not that they're afraid that they don't want public engagement. But one of the things the Liberians in our society, even people who have the poorer society and things like that, whatever you do in a society, you don't come out and say anything. Liberians' mouths have always been very, very careful until the war. If somebody in a community growing up, if somebody was doing Sorinto, if they had that kind of thing on that person, it's only for that community. You will not hear Sorinto in Basel community, and then you go to BOQ, I mean to the Busakora, and you hear, they have Sorinto in Basel community. The other person, they will not do that. And this is the atmosphere. I thought that Comey, but then again, Comey told us he's not associated. He has not been associating himself with many Liberians over the years. So that's fine. I'm not going to hold you into that. But I'm saying that you cannot have these kinds of conflict resolved in public, because every one of us have our own to say. And that's where the leadership comes in. Let's talk about it among ourselves. And once it's resolved, we go out with one phase and one group as a group and say, this is what we're doing. And this is what I'm saying. Let's move on. Let's move on. And so, Mr. George, we'll come back to that. But now, let's talk about Mr. Bakai, Honorable Dr. Bakai, the most experienced, the older person in the room. What are his own responsibility with this fiasco? What do you think happened here?
Poor communication.
Excuse me?
Poor communication.
You got to speak louder so that the audience will be able to hear you.
I said poor communication.
Okay.
If, as the people alleges, 42-year experience in public life, in government, a situation which the former Vice President Bakai should have taken hold of, should have seized, but he failed to do so because of the same old way of doing things. Mr. Ure came up with a flashing letter, colorful words, alleging somebody had done something. The first thing, as a leader who want to see this country move forward, the media should have convened executive meeting of the 4 political parties and say, hey, let's see what you're talking about. Why you went out there? Who did you consult? Did you get our blessing to say, okay, yeah, we see something wrong and we cannot resolve, go out there? No, he didn't do it. He sat down all alone, the fire burning. And as a statement, former Vice President this man with all their experience. You sitting down there, you look at this, the people say in Bonka, the soup you're supposed to eat, the soup is wasting. The pot going and you're not holding it. You look at the soup wasting. And the soup you're supposed to eat, you're not holding the pot. You say you want to be president. And you see somebody breathing. That Gary CDC, they're happy that your camp is burning. You, the statement, you don't have to be chairman, but because of your experience and age, wisdom, you will call people to say, hey, come on, bring this in, bring it, come here. Chairman, just sit down. What's happening? Where is the document? Let us go through it right here. Let's bring it up, look at it. Let us look at our copy. Let's see what was changed or what was not changed. He failed to do that. He sat down there. The hair broke loose. That failure of communication, leadership. And that's why I attribute to him that he was the one that caused all the problem. Because if he speaks, I bet you, the Honorable Boakai, they call Mr. Cummings, call Benin, call Youngly as a true broker and say, look, Chairman, where is the document? Let's put it down. You don't look at it. Let's see what you see, and let's see what he's saying. Let's see what you change, and let's see who changes. You'll sit down and let's bring it right here. Nobody will leave the room. We sit down right here who earn it. Let's see. If he would have done that, I bet you Mr. Kume would have taken to the airway. And Mr. Benin, maybe would have said, you know what happened? I went right on and said, look, there was some issue that we have concern with, and now I think we are in here, we are resolving it. That case would have been closed. But he failed to do so. That lack of leadership. And that comes with communicating, because any good, effective leader must be a good communicator. And I'm not seeing that Omen in this CPP. And that's why I say it was a failure on his part. Lack of communication.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. George. Folks, that's Mr. Amos George, his voice. And let me take my own side now, Mr. George. As you know, I'm a strong supporter of Dr. Boakai, hoping that he will see and win the leadership of our country, because he can help us to stabilize this ship, this rocking ship, under his present leadership. However, on this one, I think my belief, and these are my own opinion, of course, I think Dr. Boakai decided two things. First, I think he decided that he's going to have, let young Liberian taste democracy, where you have people engaging each other on issues and able to democratically resolve those issues. And I think Dr. Boakai thought that perhaps this was something, the fact that he has the experience and the fact that he's in that room is to help educate the young people in terms of democracy. And I think he decided we're going to have this rim and roll. But I think the people are experienced enough, and they have age-wise, they're way up there. And so this thing is not going to deteriorate to something that we might not be able to handle. And in the process, without him realizing, some of the people that were engaging each other, they decided to subcontract their engagement to other folks. And when these people that were subcontractor to do the engagement on certain group behalf, it got away from Dr. Boakai. It got away from Dr. Boakai because he was no longer in control. Because he didn't realize the fact that he was giving the green light to these people to have a clear engagement among themselves, the leadership themselves. But the leadership that he had trust in to actually engage each other democratically, they decided to subcontract their process, their responsibility of engaging each other. They decided to subcontract that to a younger group. And that got away from Dr. Bakai. Now, I also believe that Dr. Bakai's silence on this thing, because he also realized that it was getting away from him. And he made that point. But if you have that kinds of situations happen, in my opinion, I thought Dr. Bakai would have come out to say, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to take the first step on this. I am the older person in the room. I'm taking responsibility of this thing, and let's move on. Let's talk about it. And I think that would have been much, much easier. Another take that I want to bring into this conversation with respect to Dr. Bakai is the issue with Liberty Party documentation, alteration, allegations. These allegations were made earlier on with Liberty Party. I always say, and I've continued to say this, you cannot sit in a community, in a neighborhood, and sit idly by and allow someone else's house to catch on fire, and you believe that your house is going to be saved. The wind might blow the armors all to your house. And in that situation, when the situation started in Liberty Party, and they all sat there and said Liberty Party going to deal with their situation by themselves because this is a political party, I thought it was wrong, and I thought it was lack of leadership on their part. So let's move forward on Dr. Bakai. Let me move a little bit further than that. When the insult started coming towards Honorable Cummings, and he continued to remain silent, at least publicly. I don't know what he was saying in the background. I don't know that. But it was days and days and days that Cummings were being insulted. And those of us that follow the social media, it was very uncomfortable for many of us. But to watch the other person in the room to be quiet, I thought it was very, very unfortunate, to be honest with you.
And that's the man you want him to be president.
Oh, he has the ability to lead.
He doesn't have the ability to lead.
He does. He does have the ability to lead. But Mr. George, that's one thing. You see, this is what you and the far right, this is what you guys do. When I let you guys express yourself quietly without me saying nothing, but when I'm trying to explain myself, then you and Mr. Swan will jump in and try to interrupt.
I just called you a point. I just asked you a question.
No, you can't call me to a point because I never call you to a point.
Okay, go ahead. But that means because everything I was saying was
because that's, I'm just reminding you of you and the far right behavior. That's why the conservative would do so, because of your conservative view. You don't want the liberal to express himself freely. So let me finish this, and I will let you rebuttal. Don't worry, I'll get a chance. We got time.
Yeah, go ahead.
And so I think Dr. Bakai will eventually redeem himself. And he will show to the Liberian people that the leadership that every one of us believe in him, he still have it. It has not gone anywhere. It has not gone anywhere. So with this document that you share with me, Mr. George, from the lawyers, has given Dr. Bakai a platform to safety land. These people have given Dr. Bakai what was not there before. Now, Dr. Bakai can call these people to attention to say, the lawyer said, and start that process. What is happening now? I believe that Dr. Bakai is taking control of this party, of this collaborating political party. And I think from this point on, all of the rumor roll before were coming from young people, because young people are in charge. You know, Mr. Judge, when you and young people get into something, they're in charge, they're always running because the energy level is over the roof. But if I'm involved in something, I try to find the least resistance of whatever it is we're doing, because I don't want to spend too much energy. I don't have that much energy. And the young people behind me will say, hurry up. You're wasting my time. Because they can afford to expend all that energy. I cannot. And I think this is exactly what Dr. Baka is going to do. He's going to find the least resistance in this path of his leadership to demonstrate to the Liberian people that he has the leadership ability. And I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes of your time to rebuttal on this.
You lay out, but the only disagreement I got with you is that after laying out all his shortcomings, you still say he's a man. But let me say this. Dr. Boakai just threw away the opportunity to prove himself again. You know, integrity, honestly, you must be able to look at someone that supports you and say, no, what you did was wrong. When Benina Yure raised this issue, because Benina Yure referred to Oman Boga as his father, and in a much that Boakai, Dr. Boakai could not call Benina Yure to say, no, this is what you're saying, we have a problem in this institution. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. And if this man is calling you his father, it means that his son will listen to him. He didn't do it. And even when Mr. Comey said that when they insulted, they asked everybody to tell their supporter to step down. He said he did. But the other person never did. They had the people really insult. This lack of leadership. You cannot do that and expect us to entrust this country with 5 million people plus. Because it's telling me that people who support you, the Henry Costa, the John Lobo, the Pazawi, the rest of them, you will allow them to do anything and get away with it. And this is the same thing today we're talking about George Weah. If Mr. Boakai, Dr. Boakai, cannot stand up to these people who support him and say, look, this doesn't represent me. What you are doing is not me. Stop it. If not so, then of course, go your way. But if he cannot do that, what gave up the guarantee, or the Liberian for the guarantee that when he assumed power, he will be able to stand up to these very people? I doubt it. Okay. And that is my problem today with Dr. Boakai. Because in as much, you cannot call your supporters to say, hey, this doesn't represent us. It is not my character. It is not my DNA. Don't do it to me. If you love me, listen to me. He cannot do that. So what made me think, or Paul, or Mary think that he will be able tomorrow, when he gets the power, to stand up to these very people? No. And that is my problem I have with him.
Okay. Let me close on this one now, and then we'll move on to the next leader. And this is what I want to say, Mr. George. And I'm saying it from my own liberal viewpoint now. We're talking about cussing. The kind of cussing job we are not getting to play. You're able. The small cuss they do will come in your 1K people.
No.
You're able. The kind of cussing job we are not getting. Say he be president. Mr. George, let me finish.
You liberal, hold on there.
No, if you see that one, when you were talking, the liberal say anything.
No, you're not going to buy this one. I'm not
okay, go ahead, finish it.
Yes, it's the same thing we're talking today. People are cussing George Weah, and we are not seeing it's wrong. Supporters of those who cuss George Weah, they are not seeing anything. And I'm saying it is wrong. Let us discuss the issue on such thing. If Boakai went for comments and you ready to discuss the policy issue, that's a different thing.
I understand that. I understand. Let me close on this, Mr. George.
Yeah.
And with you, I feel bad that Mr. So is not here to push you along with his conservative view. Let the liberal speak, please. The point I'm making here tonight, Mr. George, is this. They're kind of cussing. George Madam, we are not getting a player just to be president. Just to be president, there's no. for the Liberian people. The kind of cussing they men can get. There's small cause here, you want jump out of there, they CPP business, they meant this, they meant that. That's just small cause. They're not even big cause. That one man cussing. They're not 2, 3 people cussing. Why we don't let cussing business? You put that thing aside, let win the election. Your leader cussing business. That's small cussing. And I think this is what really getting out of here. Because coming now use the Liberian way of doing business, and coming now use the cussing business. And so all of you're all civil people, you're not using cussing business. But we the country people, we know the cussing business. The cussing that how we live.
No.
So the other cussing business, you're live it.
The country people I come from, they don't cuss them. You cuss them.
I understand. They're not cussing in Bongade.
You cuss in the town that trouble. You don't cuss in total.
No, you causing the town of trouble too.
Oh.
But why I say that a new thing that coming to Liberia now. You're not leaving.
Okay.
All right. Okay, folks. This is Samson to Liberian Public Radio. I'm here again with Mr. Josh, the far center right. The far right, now we're all right now. Central right. And as you can see, this is how he and the far right behave towards me. They will not allow me to express myself as a liberal. When I start bringing my liberal view, they interject. And in fact, I'm lucky tonight that Mr. So is not here to shut me down and then make my mic go away and all that kind of stuff. So tonight, well, it's mano mano. And Mr. George, he's still bringing that thing up. But I'm ready. I always explain to them, I'm a counterweight. So, Mr. George, that's Dr. Bakar. Let's bring in the next person. My own political leader. What do you think? Same question. What do you think is our own responsibility in this fiasco that we find ourselves in?
The senator, I have a problem with credibility. She's not a communicator again. She's one of those. She does. I have problem with her credibility. Those are two issues: communication and credibility. Here's the thing here. She is a political leader of a political party. She and one of her officials came out and made a stunning allegation that their document was tampered with. They went to the election commission. The election commission said, hey, no, the document is intact. Now, you as a political leader, if you accuse a party chairman of doing something, since the document has been altered, alleged by you, and you go to the election commission, they say, no, please don't get in trouble. That is to tell you, you have an issue. Because first thing, when did you notice that the document was altered? And if so, did you call an executive meeting of the party to resolve this issue? I don't know. Now, she took leadership of the CPP. Similar thing again, hit her desk. Madam, from the mistake you made, you don't think this man would have been where you're supposed to redeem yourself? To say to the complainant, hold on, I have gone through the document, I have seen your letter, put some meat on the bone, give me more evidence. Let me look at it before I can refer this matter to whatever committee. She failed to do that. She took it as a personal matter to go after one of the political leaders, allegedly accusing him of doing 17 with no documentary facts. Then she was leaking documents out there because they were calling her name that she has this document. That shows a lack of leadership on her part. Complete lack of leadership. The third one, her party again, her own party wrote that during the CPP turnover, there was mistakes. She did not follow, she did not consult the executive committee. Hey, Madam Chairman, political leader of a party, you're taking a decision and you are not consulting the executive leader of that institution, then there is a serious problem with you. Now, but this is the person now, you are now trying to sell to the people all for VP. If this lady cannot run her own political institution, cannot run CPPP, then it's the whole 5% million people she want to run, my people. Why you continue to make our people trying to suffer, them again? I don't know this senator. I never met her before. But from what she has demonstrated in the past few months, it tells me something bigger about her, that she lacks the ability to lead. Because if you cannot run the institution, how can you run a whole country? How can you run a whole country? On your watch, the CPP has turned into flame. Turned over ceremony. The chairman of her party were not present. The co-chairman of the party were not present during the turning over ceremony. And we are seeing all the other ceremonies that have gone over. All the political party chairmen and other executives were present. So how can this lady now, today, people all are seeing now vice president? Really? Is that why people want to go again? I have a serious problem. And those are some of my reservations of her leadership ability. And I think that she will not be able to stand and she cannot lead to be in those positions, even though before trusting her with the country. Second place in the country, I doubt it seriously.
Okay. Again, folks, Samson Tour, that's the voice of Mr. George. And Mr. George, I was very much quiet. This is what we do as liberal. We don't interrupt. We let you express yourself freely. And I hope that you will give me some.
Let me hold you there. Let me hold you there.
Okay.
We are having a conversation. And I'm not going to let your labor thing to come slide on you.
You see, it's
I ain't gonna promise that. I will
you see, he's already giving me caviar. He said, like,
follow the rules. I will follow you. I will listen to you. But when you make a statement that I have to another point, I will call you to another point, please. Maybe I'll say point, or I want to inject right there. So we'll keep it safe.
Okay, I know we'll try to keep it simple, but folks, this is what I'm talking about. He spoke for almost 5-10 minutes. I didn't say anything, even though I had some point that I wanted to interject, but I said nothing. Now he's warning me. If I'm a liberal, I'm going to be speaking as a liberal. But now he's warning me. If my points are too liberal, he's going to interject. This is the kind of conversation we're going to have here tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. George. We appreciate that. Now, my own take on this is quite a little bit different. And let me just warn you, the folks that are listening, she's my sister, a good friend, and like a sister anyhow. So my position here is a little bit different. In these kinds of conversations, you cannot divorce your emotion out of these type of conversations. So it's going to be different. I'm going to do my best. Let me take this here, Mr. George, and I got your point. You think that her leadership was lacking in terms of honor her leadership to have these kinds of fiasco. I agree. However, this is what I think was happening. My opinion. They brought her in. When I said they, all three, Dr. Baka, Honorable Bernard Ure, and Honorable Cummings brought this lady in and set her up for failure. My belief. This lady is a very smart lady. She's not somebody. In fact, a time ago, she and her husband used to be called the political high power political couple in the Liberian legislation. She's smart. However, when she was asked to join or to be part of this process, she said, "Fine." But my fault with the three gentlemen, why they wanted to pretend to the international community that this is not all boys club. They wanted a female to participate, which perhaps I believe now, looking back at it, was a front. It was not genuine. They did not believe, they did not come into this to promote women issue. I believe they brought this lady in as a front, a token. And the time for tokenness, whatever it is over in Liberia. You cannot, in this particular political party, collaborating political party, you can't have no token. We have had the first female president of the republic. We have the second another female vice president of the Republic of Liberia. But this time, you will expect that Honorable Cummings, Honorable Ure, and Dr. Baka will believe that women have the ability to lead. But instead, they decided to manipulate the system. They decided, my words, my belief, and I'm entitled to it. They decided to manipulate the system. They decided to set this woman up for failure. And she trusted them, or trusted some of them. And she allowed herself to continue. Her emotion was impossible at that time. And she allowed herself to be drawn into this kabuki dancing with these people who had in them, not to protect her, but to set it up for failure. However, the fact that she's a strong political leader, I'm not going to sit here and shift blame. I take responsibility myself if I were her. I thought her failure, however word that I want to classify here tonight, which I'm in my right to do that. But I would say this. What I fought her on is this. Not because of the fiasco on her leadership. She was not the makeup of that. Who brought the letter in? It was Honorable Ure. She didn't ask Honorable Ure to write the letter. And when that letter came in, why did Dr. Baka didn't step in immediately to make sure that thing didn't go any further? And the person who supposedly was being accused, when she accepted the letter, the first thing Honorable Cummings did was to say, this is not going to fly. Well, they didn't even call his name. He started objecting right away and publicly, without even having the courtesy to approach the lady among you, to say, Madam Chair, what is happening here? He didn't do that. His first reaction was to go public. And the fact that they have no trust for each other, the fact that they have no respect for each other, they decided to do this to her. Her fault, as far as I'm concerned. I thought she was going to use this opportunity to say, oh, is this what you guys want to do? Let me bring in more young ladies. Let me bring in more women power onto the girl powers onto this thing. I'll give you an example. A few years back, the Senate or the representative wanted to throw Mary Broad in jail. And the women that was in Madam Salih administration, they blocked the central prison. Said, no woman, the Mary Broad not going to no jail. Those are ministers, assistant ministers, deputy, agency heads, women. They blocked the central prison. Why? Because Mary Brown, when she was being tough on the men, she didn't leave the girls behind. She was always with the girls. And they were egging her on to say, do the work, it's right. And so when the time came for the men to try to revenge on her, the women were there, said, we're not going to take that. And this is what she didn't do, my opinion. However, I say it again, that what these three gentlemen did was uncalled for. This was uncalled for. You cannot bring a young lady among you and set her up for failure. Why would Bernard Ure hold on to those type of information if he had that information? Why didn't you present them with Kumi when he was there? Let Kumi set up if Kumi was if he had that kind of information before, when Kumi was chairman, set it up to Kumi. Kumi most likely would have set up a committee to investigate himself. But you didn't do that, hoping that somebody who perhaps you will be able to have the opportunity to manipulate, which I believe happened here. And then now you're going to run to that person to say, oh, look at the document I have. You want to fight with another man. Why put the woman in the middle of it? And this is my own take on this. I believe that these three gentlemen had her in there, even though she was the leader of the Liberty Party, but they didn't recognize her as leader of Liberty Party. They brought her in for the international community to clap their hand because now they have a woman among them. So token, 10%, 10%. And no Liberian woman deserves to be 10%. No Liberian. In fact, I would say Liberians, lady, are more smarter than most men from Liberia. Liberian lady are more smarter. Let me say that again. The many Liberians men. And you're going to bring this young woman in and try to use that opportunity to squander the opportunity. Many Liberians have their hopes on the CPP business. And the fact that they are unable to lead, they decided instead of them to show themselves, that first of all, they have no trust of each other, instead of them to show themselves, they're going to now blame, and then unwillingly, she accepted and put herself in that position. So my take on this, Mr. George, why I do agree that perhaps she should have demonstrated more of a understanding of Liberian politics, because she herself had been involved much more than Honorable Kumi. I thought she would have recognized the snake that were coming towards her and try to sidestep that particular issue. She didn't do that. She didn't do that. And let us also remember, this lady is still grieving, for Christ's sake. She could be any of us, daughter or sister. She could be anybody, especially the three men. They're old enough to be her father, to be her father. Any one of them. And even if you guys are fighting among yourself and you find out she's being dragged into this, where is the decency among these three gentlemen? To say, if it was not because of this young lady we have among us, you and I would have had a serious issue. But because of her, I will be patient and wait until you and I can have the one-on-one. Where is that responsibility? Where is that temperament between these three gentlemen? They have demonstrated none whatsoever. I can say here, if it wasn't for this, I would have done this. They didn't do that. They decided to have a political scrabble over issues that perhaps should have been resolved long time.
So,
and I will let you know, Mr. George, and I thank you very much without interrupting. Perhaps my view were not that much extreme tonight on the liberal side, and so I was not interrupted, and I appreciate that. So go ahead, give me some rebuttal on this.
So it was very extreme, but I decided to give you the time so you can learn. So because you continue to accuse me so and myself, so I wanted to prove to the people that we are not the kind of people that you're trying to portray us. So that's it. But here's the thing here. You're not happy. You didn't help your sister. You know, your sister, look at her political institution. How many women she has brought on board in that institution that she's leading? Let she count the women that she helped to elevate into that institution. Because that's how you set an example in your own institution. She got her master brother, Darius Dillon, some vice chairman, secretary general, a man, party chairman, man, all the key positions. How many women she have brought into nurture into that institution? Because she has the light, she has the opportunity. Now, so she's going to bring other women on board into that institution to help to nurture them. But no, she alone, that's it. Now, let me come to the CPP. She knew exactly what she was stepping into. She'd been sitting there over what? 6 years, this is second or third term. So almost, is it her second term? She'd been 6 years, so she should have gotten much more experience in the Senate. If she would run a campaign ambassador to defeat a sitting senator, that means she's politically inclined. Now, what you see about these people, the other senator has an ambition. She has an ambition, which is her right. But you gotta be careful how you go above to achieve your political ambition. Sometimes if you're not careful, it destroys you. Because the game is not for children. She had been in the CPP, the chairmanship has been rotating, and she's been following it. Religiously, she's been following the institution. It came to her turn. Why you want to say that people use her? No. This is what she wanted to do. Because as chairman, if anybody write you any complaint, regardless of the threat they make, I heard Mr. Ure saying, I gave you 24 hours to respond. You should have called Mr. Ure. Mr. Ure, yeah, remember, I'm the chairman. So if you have any grievances, you give it to me. You don't give me ultimatum. I told you you're chairman of your party, but I'm chairman of the Foreign Political Collaborating Party. So if you give me a grievance, you gotta wait. You don't give me ultimatum. She didn't do that. She decided to go in bed politically with Mr. Ure. The press conference she had, did someone force her to have that press conference? No. What she said, the reason, the justification she gives is because the press were asking, the public were asking. But you are not forced to utter a statement to the press or the public when you don't have the facts. You're the chairman. You will come and say, look, press, ladies and gentlemen of the press, I understand you people want this issue, you want to hear from us, but we don't want to make any mistakes. So give me time, at the appropriate time, I will address the press. Finish, go ahead and conduct the investigation. But she decided to cancel it because of the press. Come on. So if you vice president tomorrow or president, it's because the press will talk, you will not have your facts to come and address the Liberian people? No. And these are some of the things I'm saying. Lack of leadership. She never demonstrated that she can stand. Because the first thing she should have stood up to Ure. Mr. Ure, remember, I'm the chairman of the CPP. You cannot give me ultimatum. You have a complaint, I have received your complaint, and I will address it at the appropriate time. That's why I'm talking about Margaret Thatcher. Okay, that's the Margaret Thatcher movement. Because you know you're the only lady there. So you got to make sure that, hey, guys, you're not pushing me around. But she didn't do it. She decided to collaborate with Ure. When and said she was doing a committee. These are the things. She had written Ure, comments, and Ambassador Buckeye. I have received this complaint, and I'm urging everybody to stand down. Give me 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I will set up a committee to investigate the case. Then you show your leadership. But when they come at you and you succumb to it, that means you're a weak leader. Because it means that you cannot make decisions on your own. And this is the problem that I'm having with her. I understand, I know the one is, she's still going through her period of bereavement. I got that. But when you're in a political arena, hey, it's a different ballgame. And being a lady, she has not demonstrated that she wants to bring other women into the political lifeline, because I will see that happening in her political party, which of course she's a political leader. And in order to demonstrate that you want other women to come, you have to start from your own backyard. She has not demonstrated that. In a CPP, who all she brought on board, what is her secretariat, how to look like, what are the young women she bring out in politics there, to dilute that masculine thing in, that she's been circled around. How's she doing it? I don't see it. So, Mr. Liberal, you are in that review, and that's your sister? Perfect. But I just lay out some things that she has not done right to help herself, to make her case. Can you hear me? The video is strong.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me close on this here before we move on, and then talk about a few other things. Then we can open the line. But when it comes to my political leader, you're completely wrong, off the rail, and have no whatsoever basis of any criticism about this young lady. I said so. I'm a liberal. But no, on a very serious note, Mr. George, I agree with you that there are certain missteps when it comes to the way she handled this issue under her leadership. But I still go back to my original point. I fault these people highly. They are responsible, partly responsible. So in terms of sharing responsibility, in terms of percentage, I say her responsibility in the fiasco is like maybe 10%. That's how much I can give. The rest of it is with these three gentlemen that sat in the room with her. So let me now thank you. I think you and I have done a wonderful job taking each of them and trying to discuss what we believe is happening with her, and these are our own opinion, and we're entitled to it. I want to thank you very much on that. Let's go now on you and I around the room here, and let's see, Mr. George, is there anything? Have you been reading anything? Well, let me start with CDC. I read in I call it Front Page Africa that there's a guy that owns a headquarters, and the government gave him permission before, and all of a sudden they revoked the permission they gave him to land. What do you make of that? Have you been following that?
I've not read. I just heard the story, though.
Huh?
I've not read the story, but I just heard the story, just how you heard it.
Yeah, no, the guy bought the headquarters of the political leader of Dr. Cassette.
Yeah.
Bought the headquarters in South Africa, I believe, and the headquarters passed all of the testing, mechanical testing, everything else passed. And Liberian government, the aviation administration, whatever they are, they gave him permission. He flew from South Africa, got in Ghana, and when the news hit that showed the plane, the headquarters in Ghana, they said, no, we changed our mind. So the guys now, the plane, I believe, is still in I'm not too sure what the situation is. But what I'm saying here, if it is true, what do you make of it? Why would the government do something like that?
The fear. The political campaign is getting on now. And you know logistics. George will use the same tactics with the campaign. Flew a helicopter up in the southeast, and they said the man was rich. You know, good mafia tactics, the guy was rich. You know, using helicopter for campaign. So the Liberian people fell for that. This man is rich, got money just matching the man using helicopter for campaign. The money is sitting on that swing when everything was start pouring in. But here's the thing, Mr. Soul, on a very serious note. The government is not encouraging the city Liberian people must invest, regardless of this man's political ambition. But bringing that helicopter, it will help to transport people. It will create job for people. So, but if the government, because I have not read the paper, I just heard the story, and Someone said this, the man took the helicopter to Ivory Coast or something like that. But
yeah, not Ghana, Ivory Coast. You're correct, Ivory Coast.
someone saying, but if the government is really gonna doing this kind of thing, then what is the guarantee? This is the question to sedition and many Liberians who are questioning our opposition leader. Why these people cannot bring factory? Why these people cannot make business in Liberia? These are some of the problems. Because if you start making business in Liberia, you have a political ambition, the government going to haunt you. And you can see from this thing here. One of the first things that allowed this man to register his business, his headquarters in Liberia, you didn't know that he was going to engage in politics. And if he did, this is a man money. That's investment. Why turn down this headquarters, revoke his license? This is the thing we are telling people. The government, the citizen-led government, it is responsible for the hardship that the Liberian people continue to suffer because they are not encouraging Liberians nor foreign or direct investment into the country. If you are doing this to a Liberian, what is the motive? Or somebody want to have share in it and maybe he said no? Because this is what they do.
This is what I suspect, Mr. Josh.
This is what they do. That someone come, go and hustle or they bring their business, then you're telling me you want to get share in it. It is my right to say yes or no. But if I say no, then you say, okay, I will see how you do that business here. And these are the things today that is hammering Liberians, the growth of the country. Because this kind of corruption are taking place in the country. And we have to talk about it very seriously. And get people, oh, the man say he got money being living in America, so that he want to invest in the country. But look at what happened to this man. I know there are other political leaders in Nigeria that got businesses, but they're afraid to go in the public to say it. So people come on different platforms and insult, oh, this person got nothing there, this person got nothing there. And sometimes I should have been laughing. So many people got businesses, but they're afraid. They've got people that in the background, they don't even want to associate with the business they're doing. Just for this reason. And exactly, Mr. Toh, one of the major reasons for this, I bet you, either the president, I would say, I'm speculating now, maybe the president or the president waiting at that Mange or somewhere or whoever, maybe look at it saying, hey, there's a place I want to get some money from. Hey, my man, I want to buy share. Maybe the man said, oh no, I got my plan, man. It's my own money. I need money to buy this thing to join with to buy. Oh, I want to invest. No, my man, I'm not selling share. So okay, you will see. Take the telephone call aviation. Cancel, I revoke that.
So, Mr. Josh, this is what I suspect as well, and speculating the same. I believe, I suspect that the man had a quarter, everything ready, coming to Liberia, and then they probably realized, the government and his people realized, this guy, there's a possibility that he might allow Dr. Barker to fly on 18 years to go up and down. Because the plane Dr. Weir has cannot go all over. It just, it's meant for foreign travel. So if this guy bring this helicopter in and he and Dr. Barker started driving, flying from here and there, but man, we did this, so, I'm just speculating. I don't know why.
Dr. Barker, but that whole opposition black.
Yeah. And they most likely, I believe that if the guy, the helicopter, they will use it. The guy might say, he might rent it to them.
Yes.
He might rent that thing to them. And this is what really, I think, causing these people. Let me bring in another subject matter, and this one is very my own experience. So you know that I did a bridge over there in the north, and they're supposed to have started the construction, the environmental issue, everything resolved, and they're supposed to have started construction process this season, but they find out that the birds that are supposed to leave, because they're supposed to clear the trees and things like that as they come in to put a new bridge, they detour bridge and put it on the new bridge. They're supposed to cut down some trees, but this tree has some net, and the certain season, these birds that have the net industry supposed to leave to go south or go southern California. Because when the winter's coming, these birds are supposed to leave, and these birds for some reason they delay their movement. So the entire 100+ million project is on hold until these birds decide to leave next year. You think I want to build a road in total, and the bird up there, we're going to get it. The bird, we'll, first of all, you go in my park, then we'll see who be who. So we had a meeting yesterday, and as a designer on this here, I was involved in the meeting. They brought it up, and then I couldn't contain myself. I was laughing, and you have all these big shots looking at me like, why are you laughing? But I couldn't continue. I said, I don't want to say it, because if I say it, you would think say I'm cruel. And then everybody, no, don't say it, don't say it, because I told them before what I wanted to do with the kiss me nonsense they have up there. You know, I told them they kiss me, they kiss me going to my palm. But what do you make of something like this? Is this something that you think we Liberians ready to have these kinds of situations? Can these kinds of things derail our construction process if we have to do some real serial road construction and the environmental issue becoming a little problem for us? Can we address those things? You think we have the ability to do that?
No. Here's the thing. Maybe the younger generation, and here's the thing, emphasis to all these things boil down to education. Education. The wildlife, the environmentalist, what this thing meant to that community and the country as a whole. We have not been able to get that kind of education when we were growing up. So we don't look at these things seriously, you know, because who knew about environmental science? And you and I were growing up. You heard about environmental business in Liberia? No. Well, no, people didn't talk about it in junior high school. No. The animal, the rights of animal. No. You see how we slap the dog. You see how so because of these things, it's just difficult for our people. Look, some of the trees, like some of the cotton trees, see around the town, you see certain birds. They are indoor tree. But so now someone ready to say, I'll cut that tree down, man. And when the tree falls, you see the bird, the nets, everything just scatter all over. But with these people, they'll say, no. These birds, you got to protect them because the species. How many times you see like people talking about, oh, this is an endangered species. Don't kill the one this time. Yeah. The guy season to hunt deer. And when you kill a deer, you got to report it. If the deer is pregnant, you cannot kill that deer. If by mistake, you got to report it. All these things to do it. But back then, no. It's not there. So when you say we're building a bridge over the river, they're not going to say, let's look at the fish. Let's look at the species. The sound from blasting will disturb the fish. It will disturb so animals. So we can't do it this way. We got to do it. No, it's not that. They just go real. Whether that animal they will throw it now, whether they throw it there. What down, way down, that's it. But again, it's all about education. Take for the honey. You see people here, how to protect these honeys. Because why? They say the flower of this honey, certain that the honey is supposed to do so to produce this, to protect these things. But you are ready to go take the honey, take the fire and put it there, to kill the honey.
One last one before we put the number up, Mr. George. Quite recently, and this one has been beaten, all whooped to death pretty much. Quite recently, there was a young man that found, I think, $50,000 for a lady, and this young man is being paraded all over Liberia right now. And Dr. Weah was involved. congratulating this young man and also providing some monetary benefit for him, and in terms, and also scholarship and what have you. And I believe Spoon TV also did some fundraiser for that young man. But what is happening now in the social media sphere is that people are doubting now as to whether the young man really found the money, and people are now saying that this is a stage and what have you. I'm not too sure whether they're reading the same thing that we're reading. But what do you make of it? First of all, what do you think? You think this is a true situation where the man found 50,000 that the lady said she had wrapped in a bag and stuff like that?
Mr. Toe, I followed the story religiously, and I've sat down and asked myself. Somebody called me from London the other day. Say, Amos, what do you make of the story? I say, the story, there are many questions need to be answered. The money, the children picking the money, I say it will be true. But I say, they had changed it into a political circuit. Certain people now want to benefit from this thing. And the moment you do so, then of course you make people to start raising so many questions. They should have left this boy alone, or leave them alone, and let the story play out there. But the moment you saw Prince Johnson, other political people, now you see what they have done to this boy. They are now making this thing now a circuit now. And so, Mr. Toya is sitting here. This boy one did not find this money. I don't know if you saw another clip. Some other guy came up. Said they were in group when this money was picked up. So you see now why this young man being made hero today. What's about us? We're all together. The money, the share, we got some. He gave us some. So now how can now you're making that one man to be the most trusted person? You see that? Politics. Because a politician and they have gotten involved, this is now why people are raising all the issues. The other boss said, yes, we're all right when we saw the money, we took the money, and we decided to give it to this person. But why not? I guess they are saying that only this young man is the only person that took this money, that he's so honest. What's about us? So you see, once the politician get involved, then the story will start changing. Because the radio station that reported the story, if that radio station was the only thing, or the institution that reported that story, and this ball didn't pick up by these people, by the president, so it would have been okay. But yeah, now Prince Johnson, you got all the other people getting involved. Now then the question, one of the questions I raised is, okay, who was the business person? Where is this person? Has the person?
I know we haven't heard anything from this lady. Yeah. We have not seen this lady.
Yeah. So these are the questions now. When the guy coming from London, I started raising. He said, "Oh, Emma, that's what I call you for." I said, "Yes." I said, "Yeah, the money could be true." Okay. Second, it could be somebody who got that money. There's no question about it. But where is this person? Who was taking the money to wherever the Morocco? Where is this person? Okay, they can say for some reason they don't want to show her face. Perfect. But they can talk to her off camera. I said they can do that. Sort of level some audience, or to deviate some of the accusations that people, question that people are raising. I said, like myself, I said, I want to see a lady or whoever. They don't have to put her picture up there, but let the press talk to her. You know, so, and I said, even they can call her face, they can tell the people what kind of business they're doing. That's it. But $50,000 plus some Liberian phone in Lima County, And you can't see a business person. How come Prince Johnson is taking the whole thing along with other officials from Nima County? Then Morovia, you got other government officials who are celebrating this guy. But it's the reality of the matter, it was not he alone. So what's about those other guys who they all were together? And somebody had come up to speak about it, that they don't like the way that they have been treated because they were all there.
Okay. All right, Mr. George, let me go ahead and put a number up. You and I can still be talking. Let me check, make sure this thing here is connected in terms of the number to call. Okay, it is. So let me put a number up, and you and I can be going from one point to another while we're waiting for a phone call. And folks, this is the number. If you have interest to call, that's the number there. Give us a call, 916-533-2048. Let me also put it up here. So
and this scholarship, this is the question.
yeah, yes, right.
Is it person we have personal money or is it government money?
No, I think it's his own personal money because the statement was that even if I'm not if I'm not a president, the scholarship process will continue. I think
that's what I hope. If it is his personal money, fine. But if it's government money, then of course there should be a something worked out so when he's not in office, the board can continue to receive that money. Because if it is an executive order, the next person can come and revoke it. So, but if it is a private thing, fine. But if it's a government thing, then it should not be an executive order. It should be something that they will pass. That is for when President is not in office, he can continue to receive that money.
So, what do you make of the Contra Devil blocking the steel company in Nima County that I read today? What do you make of that as well? What do you think is going on there?
It's complete nonsense. Nonsense.
Why you say that?
Look, no disrespect to the traditional thing in Nima, because I'm a member of the society. But here's the thing: you do not use legal things to bring in customary thing into it. It's wrong. If these people, the people of Nima, if they do have a problem with the company, they should go through the legal means to set it up. The traditional devil was supposed to be used when norms and things are violated, or if member of the organization violates some norm of the institution. Then when the devil come outside to do these things. But you cannot go to say you want to start a whole operation of a company. No, because these people signed a legal agreement with the government, and you have people working there. So if you do so then what is the role of the country devil now? Who is going to be represented? What is the role of the country devil? Who's going to represent the country devil at that meeting for what? Were they part of the contract? No, they wasn't part of the contract. So why are they doing these things? That's what I'm saying. It's complete nonsense. Is there road passing? There's a road passing that people are not supposed to pass there, and if so, have they taken the issue with the local leaders?
Well, no, they're saying that the company had made an agreement during the signing of the concession that they were going to do X, Y, and Z for the county. Specifically, they said they were going to employ the people from the county. They were going to employ people from the county who they would train to be mechanic, heavy-duty mechanic, who they would train to do, most of the jobs that is happening with the steel company. But the steel company has now reneged on that, and they're not doing what they said they were going to do, and that's why they're having this blockage. And the steel company now are saying temporarily they're going to close. So they think now you're afraid of it might just be happening. But even as that, if the steel company at this time gonna say they're gonna close, Mr. George, then it seemed to me that the steel company most likely are not even doing good over there. Let's just give it to you. That mean they're not doing good, because if they were making money, they will do everything possible to get this. There was an interesting situation with that steel company. There's this young man that was accused of taking $200,000, who is now allegedly taking $200,000, who is now out of Monrovia, and he wrote a long piece of report, so to speak, about Bill Traore, how they go and get money. And one of the interesting thing in that is that there are these people that work for the steel company, and they're in cahoots with the government employees to rob the steel company of money. In other words, they go and say, the government want us to pay X, Y, and Z, and these are not small money, $200,000-$300,000 or so, and that we didn't pay the last time. And then somebody from the government will vouch for these people by giving them paper to say the company owed X amount of money, which is not true. And these people will pay. But then when they bring the money, then they share among themselves with the government employees. That's why that guy wrote in that stuff.
Yeah, but
And
that was what was happening at the port of Buchanan.
yes,
The managing director had it. So,
yeah. And can you imagine what if that's the case? Then what is happening with other places? You heard the young man also said that they when they started giving the first money they started giving, Bill Traore took the money and told the guy to put it in his account.
yes.
And this account, apparently, he said that it has to do with the higher up leadership.
Mhm.
So if this is what is happening in Liberia, then I feel bad for us. Then I see no reason for this company to even be in there.
But here's the thing, Mr. So that's why I told you the country devil in Nema there, it's just crazy. Because you have leadership. These people cannot negotiate with you, the devil. No. There's contract on the books. So if you have power, take away your leadership, and then leadership represent you at that level. But to go to say that the people should shut down, at the end of the day, who you harming? You harming the very country and the people. So I think the people of Nema County should see reason to prevail and say, hey, cut this thing off. This is not a traditional thing. This is money. People are supposed to make money, and they're supposed to change the lives of the citizens here in this area. But as you see, that story that the man that they said that he could not leave the country but left, and he said the same thing. Bill Traore, Jr. took some money, and I mean the first round they didn't get anything. They decided to go, hey, we can sit there and let it thing go. So we too will take our part. But this is the kind of corruption, Mr. Toad, that killing the country. This kind of corruption at the highest level in the country. People steal the kind of money and they just run away out of the country. You know, Liberia is like an elephant meat.
So here's another one now. The Bank of Central Bank is now also getting ready to infuse $4 billion Liberian dollars.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen? Is there going to be another map out that coming up?
Yeah, they say they're going to infuse the money into the economy and try to take some of the old money, mutilate that money off the market. But again, we are seeing money printed, and you can't see the money on the market. We saw then during the campaign, saw new money note flying. What do you call it, guys? Come off how they call the money machine, the ATM machine. Now how they call new notes were flying. When people in the country got mutilated money. Now I read something. So they don't raise the issue.
Right.
That they are not seeing the specimen sample of the money to know what the feature of the money will be looking at.
That's going to be very interesting, because if they change the feature of the money, and then what happened to the old notes?
Oh,
Those of the people that have the old stuff, does it mean
put Joe, we have picture on one of them on one of them, maybe those bank notes because they said they
Yeah,
want.
but then say for example, they're bringing in new $20, and I have old $20. Is my $20 still value as Liberian money, or it's going to be paperless now?
It's supposed to be the same. It's supposed to be the same 1-to-1.
What's going on in Bond County with the vice president and Marvin Cole?
Now, you know, Mr. Toad, this is the problem. The entire Bond County leadership, it is a shame and appalling to the people of Bond County. The political ranking in our country had destroyed our country completely development-wise. From the vice president down, they had destroyed that country. It would take years if that country is to get back on the path of development. This political ranking in that country, I will tell someone last I said I destroyed that country. Marvin Cole, this young guy, the Phoebe Hospital will be anything before. Make sure they took data from the Phoebe Hospital. In fact, they pulled the doctors, government doctor from Phoebe Hospital, because only that they said that the hospital board, they have refused to allow the government to sit on the board. And Melvin Gordon was very instrumental in making sure that the government pulled doctors from the only referral hospital. The school, what they call the Bomb Technical College, they haven't had a graduation. The school, the building from Ellen Johnson said that the building had not been completed. With all the money, 6, 7, 8 million that they are pouring into that school, the building is not completed. And I will ask someone, what is the infrastructure development today? You can point to people in Bond County. You got a vice president from the county. They can't get county development money. What happened to this money? What is going on there? It's bigotry between Marvin Cole, the vice president, Prince Moyu, and other representatives wrangling. The people are suffering in that country. The people are suffering in that country because the political wrangling among these people. Why are they jockeying for power? For what? These people, you were elected to represent them. And this is how you're treating them. Money. They don't know people, they cannot tell you anything what is happening with country development funds. But again, I don't blame these people, I blame the citizenry of the country. Because they are the one who empower these people. They don't want to elect people who are competent, they only want to elect their own people. And this is the problem. And these people are corrupt. There's no way to put it, these people are corrupt. Nothing. If the vice president go and tell the people, if you don't vote for this, you will not get this. We'll fire you people. You heard the superintendent. The president went there after election, will come here, will say, oh, we'll do to you people. How you people can continue to theft the citizenry if they want to make a political decision because they disagree with you and you said that you want to punish them, and they are punishing them. They are punishing them. And I had to use this analogy, and they said the people are stupid, and that is one of the things they bring.
But it's not just better people alone, it's all over.
I mean, but
it's all over. Those who won the election will now try to retribution on those who didn't vote for them.
I mean, this is all around the countries. It's going on, but they will tell you, boy, that we will do it to you. And they will follow up, they'll do a follow-up to make sure it goes through. But again, it's a thing that because you got 1 or 2 persons who are in the corner of some of these people, and they come back and tell the people, oh, this person is very nice. Well, how can someone be nice when your child is not going to school? You don't have a fitting hospital. You don't have a drinking water. But you tell me this man is nice because he gave you $5 or $10. And when you are telling our people, open your eyes, change this kind of thing you're doing. And that is a serious kind of, look at the location of Bond County today. You see picture of Banga, you see picture of Banga, you feel sorry for yourself. It's like a ghost town. There, you can't see any kind of infrastructure. What is going on? And they get all that money from bomb mines. What is happening to the money? The political elite take the money and come and get in the peanuts. Then you see them. Marvin Conner is like, he's a political godfather of bomb content now. These are things that are killing the people. Street lights. They cannot give account of street lights. Solar panel, what they're paying $60 for one. They want to make and they say, hey, where's the receipt? You can't display it, you can't demonstrate even the receipt. But you got people from the very county, from the very district, so this man is a good man, it's a good man. Because what? You can get $5 from him. You are not looking, they are not looking at a larger picture, which is the entire county or district. What is happening there? Go to Kogoya, where they're digging all the gold from. Go and see the life there of the people. There is a young man in Minnesota. This guy, every month or so, the man will send 2-3 containers full of drugs. I spoke to this man one time. The man said, look, if the people of Bong County are willing, I can supply all the clinics in the entire Bong County, drugs free. The man had drugs in Monrovia. I had to take telephone one time to call one of the assistant superintendents. Just to send logistic car to come and get the drugs from Monrovia to carry to Bong County. This is someone you got in America telling you, say, I can supply the entire clinics in the whole Bong County with drugs free. You don't have to pay transportation to ship it. But you think the guy trying to look up to those people? No. Those people, they don't consider them. Is Mervyn Cole then, Jua, Vice President then, Prim Moyu then, that the Chopper and those are people they're looking up to.
Okay.
The country.
All right, Mr. Josh. I think we been on this thing for quite a while now. It's almost 10 o'clock in the East. We started around 7 or so. So, okay. So, Mr. Josh, what would be your parting statement now so that we can bring this to an end tonight?
What I want to say to the CPP, what people are doing, just giving more ammunition, or CDC is happy to see people carrying the kind of wrangling in your circle. Because right now, when this is happening, you cannot address any issue in the country. Can't flag on what is going on. Corruption, the government inability to bring direct investment. None of you can speak on it for the whole month. You are not here, any political leader speaking on what is affecting the people in Liberia. But all is for document being tampered with. So this play to the advantage of CDC. And what they are making the opposition making the mistakes. Because right now there are two things that is playing to the CDC. One, they are not talking about issues that affect the Liberian people. Two, the institution is in turmoil. And because what happened here now, because normally every government would be elected on one or two things. That is the past record and the failure. But if nobody is there to talk about these two issues, then of course, the ruling party will be happy. Because if nobody talking about, hey, we're challenging you on this. You are the failure. They are not making progress. Look for the future. They are not, nobody seeing that of CDC. So CDC got this whole thing now in favor of them. So I just want to tell the political leaders, if they want to take the country and they want the people to elect them, I think it's now time they should put their house in order and start to address many of these issues that is facing the country now so that people can know exactly where people want to take the country. Because you can be fighting your house. You're not seeing anything, then your election can say the people might elect you because you're opposition. No. You will not have to start telling the people what direction you want to take the country. And they are not doing it. So CDC is very happy with this. So that would just be my take for the evening, that the political opposition leaders should come together and put their house in order and try to start to address the issue and telling the Liberian people which direction they want to take the country. That will make them different from that of the we are led government. But if they are not doing so, then CDC is in a better position because they are not criticizing CDC. You're not saying anything about CDC. You're fighting your house, and CDC, hey, say, okay, hey, we ain't got nobody to criticize us. They can't question anything. They're fighting over their own self. So CDC is right now very happy of what is going on in the opposition.
Okay, folks, that's the voice of Mr. George, Amos George, who is a senior analyst of Liberian Public Radio here, giving his own opinion this evening. Mr. George, I want to thank you very much for joining us again. Let's see if we can do it this Sunday again, and we will find another topic to have the conversation. I want to thank you very much for providing your services again tonight on Liberian Public Radio. Thank you very much, and we'll say good night to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Again, folks, Samson to Liberian Public Radio. I want to thank all of you again tonight that have tuned into Liberian Public Radio. We ask you to please, whatever you do, stay safe and help us and help yourself. The virus is not quite over yet. Kids are not involved. They're giving kids vaccine and all the kinds of stuff. So if you have your kids that are due, please provide that so that we can move this country, which of course we're all diaspora Liberian here, so we can, because this thing also affect all of us. Because if nothing good is doing, people are not working and not bringing back the joy that they used to enjoy. Sometimes the work is kind of difficult to do. So I want to thank all of you again tonight. It's been a wonderful, wonderful show. Mr. Josh and myself, you heard it, we're quite different. And the far right is not here tonight to push me around. He's not going to be pushing me around for a while. So I am in for control here. I am, it sounds like Alexander Hayes when the ice came when Ronald Reagan got shot. So Ronald Reagan was in the hospital, and in the White House, this Alexander Hayes was the Secretary of State at that time, and he was in the White House. Then the question was, at that time, the Vice President was somewhere else, the Vice President, and they asked the question, who's in charge right now? And without thinking twice, he said, here in the White House, I am. And the people ran with that thing, saying that he's only Secretary of State. And according to the section here in the United States, Vice Presidents, speakers, and then before it even get to him. But he just took it, and it didn't go well with the American people. But on up here, I am. Who's in charge? I am. I'm the board chair. Not only am I the board chair, I'm also the CEO. Not only am I the CEO, I'm also the liberal progressive. That's why they don't like me. That's why the center right and the far right, they don't like me. They try to shut me down because I got all these positions. No, but folks, I really want to thank all of you. And Mr. So will be with us here shortly. Let's continue to keep in our prayers. Let's continue to pray for one another. Mr. So is going through a lot of issue right now. We try to cheer him up from time to time. And when I get off now, I'm going to call him, and he and I are going to be on the phone for some time tonight. And please, if you also, I also want to say, Mikey, thank you very much. Your call this afternoon was very touching. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. But we will reach out to all of you here very shortly. Once we get our house in order and the messaging aspect is unified, and we will bring that messaging package to you very shortly. So we want to thank all of you for tuning into Liberian Public Radio, and I'll say good night to all of you. Please join us again this Sunday, where we will try to have these kinds of conversations. Good night, folks, and thank you for your support.
mean around the water side. Lovely fish, we get them every day. So if you wanna get your bunga fish, you better take a walk to the water side. So if you wanna get your bunga fish, you better take a walk to the water side. Can you meet around the water side? Lovely fish, we get them every day. Can you meet around the water side? Lovely fish, we get them every day. So if you wanna get a bunga fish, you better take a walk to the water side. So if you wanna get a bunga fish, you better take a walk